Tell me what. Right, it's me, Mr. Voice. This is our tabletop chemistry episode number 2. So, I've heard about this thing called kinetic sand. I have a sample of it here. Of this, the original kinetic sand. As you can see, it's a type of sand-like mixture of a sand and a polymer known as dimethylsiloxane in between the sand granules that allows it to run through like this kind of stuff right here. But there's another thing that runs through that produces fine threads. This thing called sticky tack. I'm sure you're familiar with stretching this thing as a child. But imagine you have a sand grain and another sand grain, and you have that action going on in between. So you end up with something like this. When you finally mix that stuff with sand, you'll end up something that behaves just like kinetic sand. Well, albeit 90% like it anyway. It clumps up together. You can roll it. You can cut it. And you can shape it into anything. And it does not make a mess. This is the first batch we made. It's also completely waterproof. So yeah, that's it. It's completely waterproof, unlike all the other recipes that use water. You know the reason why? We're using all non-polar things. You see, we got oil. That's the big ingredient. The reason why kinetic sand's waterproof is because you don't put water in it, you put oil. So anyway, to get started, we get some sand. We pour it in our little basin. Then we pour some oil into it. Mix it together. Then by hand. So now we get a very oily sand mixture. But that's good, we need this. It needs to be wet. The reason why we're adding oil, it's a thinning agent, and we're using cooking oil because it does not evaporate in room temperature that quickly. We need a thinning agent because this thing, it's too elastic. Imagine this in between sand grains and you pull it hard, it's gonna freaking snap. So we need to be a lot softer. Anyway, after your consistency is just like wet sand, you add a tiny bit of this stack into your mixture. Then you knead it in with the sand. It will end up stretching out a lot, but that's like completely normal. It absorbs more sand, it grows in size. And begins to behave a lot like the famous kinetic sand, or moon sand, it's the original brand.
That's magic.
And magic sand, whatever the hell you call it. So now once it starts to string about, you scoop it up and mold it yourself in the palm of your hand. Oh my god, I'm rhyming today. Until eventually you get something that behaves a lot like kinetic sand. This is incompletely mixed, but you get the point. Then you just keep kneading it over and over until you get your desired consistency. You add more sand or add more tack, and you only need a very small amount of tack to create your sand. You can see when it breaks apart, it creates strings, which means this needs a little more sand. So anyway, that's how you get kinetic sand. Put this in with the others. I tried my best on my first attempt to get just like the original stuff, and that has clearly succeeded. Try this stuff. This falls apart more. Newest stuff is incomplete.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's it.